Absolutely, and I want to also extend my appreciation for you bringing up this important issue. And I think this is going to kind of be a continuing conversation, at least for the next couple of weeks, as we move forward into bringing this particular bill and the legislation to the floor. But with that, I was just thinking that the last couple of days I saw the president on TV, and he asked the question, what kind of country do we want to be? And I think it's you can think of that in a lot of different ways. But regarding the border, the president, while he says that, he has preached over the years that he's made our nation's border more secure than ever. I just remember, last year when he was literally saying that, we saw tens of thousands of unaccompanied people coming across the border, and all of America was saying to themselves, what are you talking about? How can you say that when the Border Patrol wasn't stopping these people? They were greeting these people and bringing them into the country. And you're thinking, well, look, maybe that's a great thing, but we don't know who they are, what their intentions are, and you have no credibility, Mr. President, if you say that. And his statement is just supported by bloated statistics and a false sense of reality. And I think most Americans understand that. As a matter of fact, the GAO recently found that only 44% of the southwest border was under operational control. 44%. So 66 is just wide open, apparently. And, listen, that 44%, that's based on some best guess or some estimate, because, believe it or not, they don't even keep the records. Now, you know as sure as you're watching this on TV or in the gallery or sitting at home thinking about it, that those Border Patrol agents and those sheriffs are keeping records of the things they do on a daily basis and on a nightly basis, drove so many miles, picked up so this many people coming across the border. What happens to that information? Guess what, folks? They don't want us to have it. They don't want the GAO to have it, because then we would know that our back door is wide open. I mean, the gaps in the border lead to higher crime rates and unemployment for American citizens. I mean, it's really no more important or no more complicated than your own home. Sure, you love your neighbor to your left and your right, and the people that join your home to the north and to the south, but that doesn't mean that you leave your doors wide open for them to come in and go as they please on all hours of the day or night. We want to be a country that is defined by who we are, and it requires protecting. If we're not going to define our country in those ways, why define it by having a border at all? And that's what I think the president and many on the other side would propose, that we just abolish the borders. Well, guess what, folks? If we abolish the borders, we don't have any country at all. I was thinking about another thing I heard recently. Of the last 6 years, of the couple million jobs that were created in a downturn economy, almost all of them, statistically, were filled by people that weren't born in this country. Listen, it's great to have people come here, and we need to have that policy, a smart policy, but our policy should be what works for America first. And securing our border and doing what works for America is the right thing to do. It is our duty. It's our oath. People say, well, why is it so important? Look at the crime rates. More than 40% of all criminal cases initiated by federal prosecutors were in districts that border Mexico. Is that like, is anybody surprised? And do you think that doesn't correlate to something? That means something, folks. I mean, the governor of Texas, Rick Perry, stated more than 3,000 homicides were committed by illegal immigrants in the last 6 years. Now, are we a nation of laws, or aren't we? And if we are a nation of laws, what does it matter if you have a law that you're not going to enforce? Does it mean anything? The president has not executed the law for biometric exit. That's where we determine who you are, what you're doing here, and when you leave. We come legally, come across our border, but that's part of securing the border. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. And if you want to stay, hey, that's great. But show up and let our government know that you're going to stay a little bit longer, what your purpose is. We don't want to say if your purpose is something other than what it should be. The Congress has spoken. As a matter of fact, 8 times passed a law requiring an exit system at all our ports. But yet the executive branch, the one who executes the laws, has decided that's not important. It's just not going to do it. Folks, this puts us at a huge disadvantage. It makes us unsafe. We're not secure in our homes. We don't have the peace of mind of knowing that we're safe in our homes. We don't have the peace of mind of knowing that the people that are coming across the border are being screened for maybe diseases or criminal activity. I mean, we see, and there's a cost to that. There's a cost in lives. There's a financial cost to that in caring for people that get diseases that we have long eradicated in America that now come across the border unchecked because our border is wide open. That's why it's important to secure the border. And it's important. Congress has spoken. Congress, the representative of the American people, has spoken 8 times on this issue, and the president has just said, I can't be bothered. You know, he designates federal lands, and our own agents can't be on these federal lands and do their job. I mean, who thinks that controlling the border and securing the border means being 50 miles off the border? I guarantee you, if you're in the combat zone securing your perimeter, your border, and the gentle lady knows what I'm talking about because she's been there herself, as I've been there. You secure your perimeter and you watch your perimeter right on it. Not just set up a little fence or, you know, draw a line in the sand and then head to the tent and hope nobody crosses it. That doesn't work there, and it doesn't work here. But yet that's what we're doing, and we're espousing it as though it was some kind of policy that is coherent and is realistic. It is not. Our agents want to do their jobs. They want to do they're excited to do the job. They're committed to do the job, and our federal government literally is standing in the way and saying, absolutely, right? You can't do the job. We can get some assistance from our state and local or National Guard, too. I've served on that mission as well, and there's a lot of opportunity there to divide the duties and the resources and make this work that's cost effective. There's a lot of expertise from a military standpoint that can be used legally to help secure our borders. But here again, the president can't be bothered. Mr. Speaker, it's unconscionable. We need to keep track of these individuals with radical views. You know, if the president had enacted the biometric requirements that have been required by the United States Congress 8 times, maybe the Tsarnaev brothers wouldn't have had the ability to come to Boston and blow up people during the marathon. But we'll never know, right? Because they just come and go as they darn well please to our country, and we don't ask anything. How is that securing the country? How is that good for America? Madam Speaker, and thanks again to the gentle lady for hosting this. This is an incredibly important a subject that we need to be discussing, and it's great that we have some time on the House floor to discuss this. And I hope what this does is it kind of gets the people that are watching to say, maybe there's something to this. Maybe I should call my representative. What does he or she think? How would he or she vote on such a border bill? Is there something missing in the bill, and is there some reason they wouldn't support the bill? And what is that? What would I like as an American to see about my border? Should we be letting anybody that darn well pleases come across the border unchecked to come into my community and do whatever they would, take my job, harm my family? Or do I want something more as an American? And where does my representative stand? I think it's a great opportunity to call your representative, write your representative, email, talk to their staff, and say, what does my representative think of this? So I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate your leadership. I know I've been to where you live.
You know what we're dealing with.
The good. I've flown on your border down there. I've crossed the border in Nogales, and I've been privileged to be there. But America is not where it needs to be on this. The Congress is, but we need to pass a bill, and we need the president to execute it. So I thank you very much for the opportunity, and I yield back.
Sure. Thank you, Mr.